But now you don't see that in society. You see women my age where honestly, it's 50-50. Like,
That's
in the
because women are
workforce.
trying to change it. That's the whole point.
We already are. It's not even trying. We are changing it.
And they're still
you just have to
working
give it
towards
time
it.
and stop.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Poppin. I'm going to bring you guys a thought-provoking video. It's from It's Complicated. He just goes around asks people, ladies and men, interesting question about the social construct and everything. And I really enjoy it. He has a bunch of videos. I might review more of him. So we're gonna do that today. And remember to, hey, like, subscribe. Remember, I have my Discord. You can always join. Just click the link. You automatically join and you can see the videos that I upload, and you can actually send your own videos too. So I just like anything, man. Any random interesting stuff, especially social stuff, racism, so interesting stuff. Let me know, people. I like to see how people change and adapt or evolve. But let's go to the video.
Why is it that a woman's love is more likely something that needs to be earned through courtship than a man's love?
Why is it that a man, like, what?
In other words, like
wait. She had a brain fart, just like me, because I was like, wait, that's a good point. Yeah, actually, we're always supposed to chase the ladies, right?
why is it why don't women court men? Why did society set things up that way, that men are expected to court women in order to earn her love?
But on the other side of this spectrum here, I'm just gonna say, like, that just goes back to the patriarchy real quick, because, like, I don't know, like, women, yes, we're not, like, that is societal standards. Things are changing now as, like, women get more rights and, like, feminism, and we start to progress in the world. However, like, with that social standard with men, there's also a lot of privileges that come with that. So it's like, it could be switched up, it could be the other way around, but then you have to also accept the other privileges on the other end of that. Like, that's just how our society is set up right now. It's not right, but what's to say the other way is right?
I got so confused about her. Let's see, maybe her friends can make a little more sense, because she was confusing me.
Based on the person, like, you shouldn't have to earn no one's love. You should go into something loving yourself first, and, you know, like, if you make each other happy, cool. You should accept each other for who they are and, you know, what it is. And if you're doing everything you can to make somebody happy and it's not working, then, you know, you don't have to accept that and settle. You could just do your thing. If that's not the type of love that you're into, then, you know, sorry, excuse my language, but fuck it.
Why are women the stronger sex when it comes to birthing children, but conveniently the weaker sex when it comes to risking rejection, needing sympathy and validation, killing spiders, opening jars, lifting heavy objects, and fighting wars?
Okay, that's... Woo.
I wouldn't say necessarily that that second part is true. I think that's kind of the stereotype that we've given women, and I also feel like living in a patriarchal society, I feel like that's just how it's worked. But I wouldn't say that one outweighs the other. Yeah.
Patriarchy is a social system in which men hold primary power and predominant in role of political leadership, moral authority, and social privileges and control of property. Well, now that I know exactly what it means, she would assume that men made it so that women are strong for having babies and weak for the rest. Okay, and women might have started believing that. So what she's saying is, yeah, so because of that system, it got gangster. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from.
Two different ways of human behavior, and I think it's a really small thing and a really big thing.
Well, yeah, but do you think that women want equality when it's convenient, but are happy to revert to traditional gender roles when it's not?
Wouldn't anybody do that?
That's not the question. And even if she says, won't anybody do that, that is true. But the problem is, if I don't want to provide, I can go to prison. But if you don't want to be a mom, there's somebody that will adopt the baby paid by the government. There are certain things men cannot go out of the way or silk around because they just don't see you as a man. It devalues you. Socially, women see you differently. All this beautiful crap, chill guy and everything, try to listen to all the ladies. It didn't get me any attention from the ladies, but the more I pretended like I'm cool, even when I knew I wasn't, the more I felt attracting women. And it made no sense. I just didn't play the game because I didn't want to reach a woman like that. But certain people don't even understand that concept. And they get destroyed. I think certain people don't understand men, but hey.
Would you agree that patriarchy is defined as a system of society or government in which men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
The patriarchy is the systematic and societal favoritism to masculine traits rather than feminine traits. So I personally am bothered by the patriarchy because in society, and it's not even just something that women should be upset about, men should be upset about it as well, because it prevents them from fully being their best selves as well, because that's why so many men, when it's like, oh, like, men can't wear dresses, they can't do all that, they can't do things that are considered feminine, or at least that's what society tells us.
When you go in the direction of gay and lesbians, it gets confusing. It's a new concept. Back in the day, everybody were dressing like men and still do their funky stuff like in the Roman days. They didn't dress clothes like women. They just were soldiers that went in the bunk bed and did so. It was like, I'm still a man, but I like men. It was very clear what is happening. So the whole thing, no, I think that's different. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Pink and all these people, George Michael. Some of them were freaking smooth. If you apply it correctly, Gucci. In my experience, what I hate about patriarchy, that I can convince you, and I've seen it in Spain, is the fact that all the ladies have to cook, and once they're done eating with the whole family, they have to clean the table. And I've seen it sometimes here in Spain. They're like, guys, you guys don't wash the dishes, you guys don't clean. And I was surprised, because me on my Caribbean island, I did everything. But in Spain, you have some of these people that actually think like, no, man, I'm going to find a woman that's going to cook. I'm going to bring the food, and you have to do it. There's no choice, especially the older you get with a generation. Or some people are like, you know what? They have like a daughter that's living outside of their own native country with other family members, and the mom calls the daughter like, yeah, but you have to clean. Men don't have to clean. You have to show that you're a real woman. That is gangster patriarchy. For me, what people fight for in first world countries, it's more irritation. And I don't see a lot of ladies doing woman job these days in certain countries like US. They can't even cook.
Because it would be emasculating to them, and they have to maintain the sense of masculinity. But on the other end of the spectrum, women, when they want to pursue more masculine things, it affects both genders as much, both sexes, I would say. Both sexes as much as it, does women. Men get affected as much. It's just not as talked about. But I personally am bothered by it because I feel it's hard for me to be seen as respected in the world because of my femininity.
I don't know. I know a bunch of girls in the gym, all sexy, all buffs. They can kiss my ass. They still act feminine. I see beyond the muscles. I mean, if you walk like a ninja turtle, like you have a turtle shell on your back, I'm like, hey man, I'm not gonna find that sexy. Even if you're a man and a woman, I never enjoyed that aspect. I like women with muscles. Just be beautifully defined. As long as your feminine future is there, I don't care if you're a big feminine or a small feminine. Beautiful feminine is a beautiful feminine. That's me though.
I think patriarchy is when men just kind of dominate things, and I think it's interesting that women complain about it but also want to stay at home. Because I have a career, I'm 24 years old, I'm an engineer, I live on my own, but I'm also like, I kind of just like want to be a stay-at-home mom at some point and chill out, but I'm not, but I can't, it would be so hypocritical of me if I was like, oh, men shouldn't go out in the workforce and go be a career person. I think everyone is equal.
I get where she's coming from. What I noticed is this when I was a little kid. I wanted to be a woman because I thought I can just chill, do specific stuff, do the housework, and the rest I can just play PlayStation and hang around with the kids. I actually thought it was a lot easier. I can understand you're always at home. That could be frustrating, but for me as a kid, it seemed like the interesting job. The more I went outside, the more I learned. I realized, hey, there are other stuff I want to do outside. But the more I partied and the more I did repeated fun stuff, I noticed it's not that fun. I just want to chill. And I think all ladies and men reach that point. Some become workaholic, some don't. I get it. But the way she's reacting is actually quite interesting. I'm like, what do you really want? It's like she might be conflicted in a way that she's like, I'm going to do all this engineering stuff, but maybe I don't want to do that forever, constantly, forever. I just want enough money to live comfortable. And I find it weird that some people are so workaholic. I need to be a strong, independent woman. I'm like, okay, you be gangster. But I'm like, don't you want to enjoy life? Try to go up the ladder like some of my friends. But I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy my kids. If my kids passed away, I don't want to be working so much that I missed a bunch of stuff. But that's me. But the fact that she's thinking twice about her answer, for me, it's like a little more hope than I thought of the younger generation.
That would be like the opposite of patriarchy, and I think the point is not to do the opposite. The point is for it to be equal, and the reason why women complain about the patriarchy is because it's prevalent in our society, and women
How is
face...
it prevalent? What is it? What does it do?
What gender have every single one of our presidents been?
That is not a good point. That is not a good point. Why is it not a good point? Because the amount of women that vote for that president, they like specific people that are leader. Certain ladies don't trust certain ladies in a power position because they know how dangerous it can be. It's a social thing. That's why they choose Trump. I prefer to have an asshole in the presidency than somebody that lies. People don't like deceitful people. I don't think women can be good president. There's a bunch of them. But guess what? They don't get selected. And it's not only the men, also the women vote. And they don't want him. And you're gonna say, oh my God, she's manipulated by the men. I'm like, okay, man.
Do you think that the only qualification to be president should be just being a woman?
So actually my mom and I was...
But I think because men are viewed as leaders and power figures based on our society is set up is why people are more likely to vote for men, because if you look at interviews, even some women are like, because women shouldn't be leaders, they're too emotional, and that's because society has set it up that way.
It's no. I would totally disagree with that. You know why? All the ladies that I spoke to went to a psychologist, right? That was a male. They told me the experience was better because women have usually this character that is very empathetic and agreeable, while men is usually constructive and trying to point out something that you can work on, right? So even if they point out to something that's wrong, you can still be like, I'm gonna work on it and realize, hey, that was not the thing. File your complaint and oh my God, he has to be, hey man, you're right. I never thought about this point. But certain ladies with lady psychologists, they're so agreeable. So when something is wrong and they need to correct you, they don't. And they noticed it. And when they have to change psychologists because he has to go with pension or whatever, they might be like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose this guy. I don't want a woman. Is it his fault? No.
Men are viewed as leaders. That's why the vast majority of men are all of the business leaders.
Look at her face. She's like, oh my God, here she goes again.
They're everything. They're always at the top.
I've never once said that about any woman first. Second of all, my mom and I were just having this conversation because she's writing a book about, successful lead like a woman. And we were just...
Oh, mommy is there. Ooh.
Talking about how when you get into the workforce, that this generation does have more women. We just haven't had the time to where we're in those positions yet. Right. And I bet in 20 or 30... But as a society, if you look at it, we're changing. You just have to give it that time, because back in the day, And actually, speaking of, okay,
And it's changing because women are complaining about the patriarchy.
So when men
Everybody is complaining about the patriarchy because it's a very beautiful thing. You look morally good and you don't have to explain yourself because you can just complain about the patriarchy. Just like Sims are complaining about women. It's a stupid argument and it's easily devalued because everybody's gonna be like, then just do something about it. You can't complain something with one big word and assume, oh my god, I'm morally strong because there's a lot of people identifying like myself. That doesn't make any sense.
Like, you know,
Historically, yeah.
Historically, okay. So then isn't patriarchy just the natural evolution of men and women just giving into their expected roles?
I mean, historically, a lot of things happened that weren't right. You know.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm going to challenge this idea. Why is patriarchy seen as such a bad thing when women always expected men to provide?
I don't expect men to provide.
You don't expect men to provide. But I'm sure if we're in a jungle and something gangster is happening and you know I have a benefit of a strength which could help you get specific food on certain things, you are gonna expect me to do something about it. I'm not saying you won't in the beginning, but you will recognize my possibility and my hyper chances of doing something different than you. It's gonna happen. It always happens. That's the reason why it
basically isn't the idea of patriarchy oppressing women based on a false premise if women wanted men to provide? And so I'm just saying men went into the productive sphere and they built business empires, things like that. So now they're going to be leaders of industry because that's what they have been doing for the past 100 years.
Well, as a counterpoint to you real quick, it's not that we wanted men to provide historically, it's just that we weren't given any opportunities to provide for ourselves.
I can see where she's coming from with it. You didn't ask nobody to protect you. Of course, you didn't ask to. The moment you are in a relationship with anybody, back in the day, like back in the day, there is a certain expectation that you would have. Is they would protect you. It was the general assumption. Knowing that you would be safer because you know men feel the burden to feel that they have to protect ladies, you're gonna take advantage of that, just like the lady said.
Wouldn't anybody do that?
If you want to talk about a hunter-gatherer sense, sure. Men would typically, and by the way, not all the time, because there's actually more historical evidence than people give credit for women hunting. But let's go ahead and assume you're correct, and that only men hunt. Sure, maybe, but that's not correct. But let's go ahead and assume that. Women actually produced a lot of the tools and the clothing that men used to hunt. So they were actually producing most of the economy. So if we look at a patriarchy, is it that men are producing more? No, not at all. It's just that they decided they wanted to take credit for it. But let's go. Next question.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point. I like this guy. That is true. A lot of these things women created, especially clothes, certain tools too, World War II, as I told you also before, and some men just took credit of specific stuff.
But now you don't see that in society. You see women my age where honestly, it's 50-50. Like,
that's
in the
because women are
workforce.
trying to change it. That's the whole point.
We already are. It's not even trying. We are changing it.
And
And you just have to give it time and stop bitching.
Oh, damn! Damn! Woo! 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 Damn! They are not friends again. Either she felt confident because mommy was there, or damn, she needs to find a new friend because she is bitching.
Okay, let me ask a few more.
And just be thankful.
Let me ask.
Oh my god, she's just saying that men are doing certain things because they are better for that job. Now society has changed and everybody has the possibility to do it. But that doesn't mean we can't be thankful for a few stuff. Because if a woman has a baby, right? And I can do everything my wife can do, I'm still thankful for her to be able to give birth to the baby. It's not that I'm saying I'm a better mom than her, but I'm still thankful because we're doing this stuff together.
And work hard.
Let me ask you a few more questions that I think we'll get to an interesting point here, and this is what I'm really curious to see what you think.
She's shaking her head. Oh my god.
Do you think that patriarchy is the cause of gender roles, or is it the result of gender roles?
I think it's an
it's-
excuse.
I think it's the result.
Okay, so then here's what I want to know.
Oh my god, she she kind of humiliated. She changed her whole demeanor. She's like, damn. Humbled her so much, she is, well, kind of humiliated her. Well, I'm not sure if she humiliated her. Well, it is in public.
Historically, weren't men in the productive sphere while women were in the reproductive sphere? Okay, so isn't patriarchy just the natural evolution of men and women just giving into their expected roles?
Again, I think that goes back to survival. Like, those were the roles that
We're
we
still
needed to survive
surviving.
back in the
How
day.
Wait, girl. You need to let her talk. This is also something very bad that I see certain girls. When they say those gangster word, and the other one, it has like an epiphany, like they open their eyes. Okay, maybe I am bitching or whatever. She is talking from a humble perspective, which usually happens also with men now, the one on the left. But now the right one doesn't let her finish. You need to let people finish. That's why it's so complicated.
But again, today, we don't need those things. Women don't
How are
need
we
to
not
have children.
surviving?
Like, women can go
Why
out and
do
do
we
all the
not need
things
to
that
have
men
children?
do. You don't need to fall into those gender roles
But that's what makes
anymore.
us special. Men can have children. I want to do something they can't do.
Okay, but not every woman wants to have a child, and they shouldn't have to.
I never said they had to.
Okay.
I said I want to.
Okay, let me get to the next question then. Why is patriarchy seen as such a bad thing when women always expected men to provide?
I think that women were taught to expect that
I personally enjoy
because
it.
of the patriarchy.
But you don't think
They
that
were-
but you don't think that's a biological thing because
I think it depends on who you are, like, and what.
Again, because it's different in every society. Some societies are matriarchal, so it all depends on society
Which
and where you're
ones?
from. A lot of
Say one.
old societies, like a lot of Native American societies,
And why are they not around anymore?
because white people killed all of them.
Actually, they were the ones who got. So no, you actually don't know your history.
Okay, no, okay. They're going off the rail. I mean,
And you want to know why Jamestown got all the smallpox? Is when the Indians gave them gifts, like rugs and things, they actually put smallpox on the rugs. It'd be like putting COVID on someone and then giving them cake.
okay, just a couple more questions related to that, right? Why should men be
History
expected
is hard.
why did she have to say that?
Why should men be expected to just hand over all the power they've earned through their hard work?
I don't think that at all. I think if you want to work hard, you can get it. And I think if
I don't think anyone's asking them to hand it over.
yes, well, it's just you shame them. You shame them for having it.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
No, we're saying that we want it to be more equal.
Then work hard. It's very equal for me in the workforce as an engineer.
Again, you have privileges that other women
How
don't.
do I have a privilege?
Because you're white.
Whoa! Whoa! I did not expect this video to go this way. Why? So this is what confuses me. The fact that she is winning as a woman, that's bad too. Because she's white.
How? I work just as hard as my black friend in engineering. And we studied together, and she also has a job.
Well, basically, you can ensure equal opportunity, but you can't ensure equal outcome. So,
Well, no one can ensure outcome.
You
Well,
really can't
of
ensure
course, I
equal
mean-
Why, so
opportunity
why do
either.
people, like, you can't just bitch and complain until you get an outcome that you want?
Woo!
I mean, how else do you think movements and revolutions started?
Not by bitching and complaining.
No, that's exactly what happened.
so because men were expected to produce, that's why they went into the workforce, and that's why men dominate the workforce now. It's because women wanted to stay at home and have kids, and they wanted men to go out and provide. So why is it necessarily a bad thing that we live in a patriarchal world when that's what women wanted?
Well, I think we've developed far beyond that. I feel like obviously centuries ago, biologically, we're meant to recreate and procreate, but now we've developed beyond that, so why can't we shift that norm?
When men were in charge, didn't they still make laws to protect women?
What do you mean? Like what kind of...
I mean, obviously, we have laws against sexual violence against
Barely.
women.
Domestic violence.
Barely.
We do.
Barely? Okay, I don't know, man. Barely? I don't know. My wife is so worried for my 2 boys. But that's a different story.
Those were also recent.
We have domestic violence shelters for women. We have family courts actually kind of favor women, believe it or not. So I'm just saying, I mean, aren't there actual, I mean, if we live in a male-dominated society,
But isn't it sad that we have to make laws to protect women from men?
Well, wouldn't it be sadder if we couldn't?
Okay, well, related.
Oh my god, man. This is not healthy. But it's entertaining.
To that, right? If we lived in a matriarchy where women had all the power, would women still make laws to protect men?
Ooh.
I hope they would, but I would also hope that men would be fighting for equality as well.
Well, why aren't feminists fighting for those laws right now?
That's what feminism means. Feminism just means equality. It means equality for men, women, the environment, people of every color.
So my question about this then is, if feminism is about equality, why isn't there equal representation of both men and women's issues?
Yeah. Because I think that since we are in a patriarchal society, that women's issues are more prevalent and more pressing than the ones that men are currently facing, because they do have a lot more privilege than women do.
Who's to say one is more oppressing than the other?
There's a lot of statistics and things out there that would say that.
Is it possible to be pro-men without being anti-woman?
Yes.
Why do so many feminists think that it's a zero-sum game, that you can't be one without being against the other?
I don't think a lot of, if they think that they're not real feminists, again, feminism just means equality. If they think that, then they're
why don't they just call it equality?
Well, yeah, why don't they just call it equalism?
Or
that's the definition. I didn't write it.
Well, then maybe they should rename it.
Or just call it humanism, right?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, well, at least they agree on something.
But I think it's probably because it started as the feminism movement, and then it started translating into more and more things.
That's a good point. That she is right there. Most of the time when I meet a lady, I think I'm better than them. And then I find out the job that they're doing, they do it a lot better than me, consistently. Not lucky, not because of a favor. Once I see that, I'm like, damn. You are a strong woman, and I start respecting that woman. But I also think that about men. I don't freaking care. But if I say anything about this woman, woo! So people, we're at the end. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about patriarchy. And let me know if you enjoyed the video. If you do, I'll try to do more of his channel. Okay? Peace.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Put a fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam turloqueta verdetta welcome.